right. Thanks. Let us know how it goes. See you. Yep. Just getting set up. Man, 5 minutes early. You guys are crazy. Okay, we should all be set up for streaming. And Jesus, that was not meant to happen. This until 6. Once it does hit 6 o'clock, then you can scan it. I honestly don't care if you don't scan it, but SAO does. So you do you. We're gonna wait a few minutes because I'm used to everything running 5 minutes behind. It's kind of insane. We have like actually half a room full of people because we didn't even go to like the Be Involved fair or anything. Oh yeah, I cut it all off and then I dyed it, so I'm a new man. But yeah, I mean, I guess some people are baptizing their classes. Like, how everybody found out about art. We found out from like a friend or something, or maybe just like online. If I didn't catch it, found out about us. Oh, and Boiler Link, cool. Any other recruiting methods that we didn't even know about? Oh, true. All merging out of our shells. Looks like a lot of us are word by mouth though, so that's pretty cool. And we have I didn't even ask our viewers, our 2 concurrent viewers. With like a little Rocket League clip going on. Yeah, we're live streaming it right now, actually. Yeah, everything we say. That is good to keep in mind, though. Just make sure you stay in front of the, because I don't have any like recording or audio software or devices, so try to stay as close to the left as possible when talking. All right, we'll wait just a few minutes after 6, because I know I would probably be running late if it were me. Guess I should do it too. Deal. Oh, for Callout? I can set up like a presenter view. Jesus Christ. All right. Let me double check the live stream so it's the right display. Sorry, let me fix the live stream real quick. I just switched my presenter view. There we go. Cool. We'll go ahead and get started. If you haven't already, make sure you scan that QR code. Hey, yeah, maybe we should try to heed way at the door just so people don't feel like they're being attacked when they walked in. But cool. Yeah, so like I said, go ahead and scan that QR code if you haven't already. That just lets us know that you attend the event. This call out is going to be pretty brief. It's also going to be pretty informal, so if you have any questions and you know time, go ahead and raise your hand and we get them answered. Beyond the PowerPoint slides, we have no real structure, flow, and stuff that's supposed to happen. It's more just as an opportunity for you to learn more about the club and hopefully get involved in the future. I'm going to assume everybody got it scanned, so I can go ahead and start talking about the agenda. We're going to start off by introducing ourselves, who we are a little bit on the leadership team, managers, and then start going over like sort of how the club operates as far as the meeting schedule and how we tend to act on projects, manage projects. And then we'll talk a little bit about how the club has shifted a little bit with COVID and some of the efforts on us. And then we'll get into actually talking about some of our active projects that we'll be offering this semester. And we'll finish up by just giving you direct information about how you can expect to be on board with these projects and what next steps you need to take to actually get involved. Any questions right off the bat? Cool. We'll go ahead and introduce ourselves then. I'm Harrison McCarty. I'm the president of the club, and we decided to go on the line. Not everyone's here today, so I'll cover for those who aren't here, and then some of our project managers, if you guys want to introduce yourselves as well, or any of the presenters.
I'm James, mechanical engineer.
Right now, I'm a sophomore mechanical engineering. I'm the branding manager.
Suraj, I'm a freshman in ECE. I'm the project manager for drone delivery.
I'm Kanika. I'm a sophomore in computer science, and I'm coming in for the project managers for robotics.
Cool. And those who you haven't met today, but are also on the leadership team, include Raghava, who is a sophomore in ECE. Am I correct? Yeah, he's the vice president of the club, and Sarah, who's also a sophomore but in mechanical engineering. Yeah, nice. Do that. And they act as our Raghava acts as our vice president, and then Sarah acts as kind of a half switch between our treasurer and our lab manager. So if you ever work in BIDC, she's probably the individual you'll want to talk to and get to know. So talking a little bit about how we operate and what our purpose is, the formal mission statement we go by is that Autonomous Robotics Club likes to openly explore challenging problems of the field of robotics, and through ARC, students with any background can collaborate with an active community of shared knowledge. And that's all kind of just like extra jargon to say that we're like the build cool shit club. So we don't like try to put any limitations on what it is you try to build. There's no like financial constraints for the most part that you have to be concerned about. There's no sort of return that you need to make for us. There's no competitive return you need to make for us as like far as competing in competition or something like that. Really, it's just up to you to decide what you find interesting, and then we give you the resources to pursue that. So there's not many limitations we'll provide, and I'm sure you'll see that once we start talking about some of the ongoing projects and the vast sort of variety of challenges they take up and different fields they choose to explore within robotics. As far as like some of the club history, we were originally founded in 2015 under a much longer club name, and we are much more focused on autonomous aerial systems. So we competed in a competition known as like POVZ, if you've heard of it. But since then, we've kind of shifted a lot more to be community focused and more so focused on supporting individual projects that all operate within the club. As far as how meetings are sort of scheduled within ARC, there's kind of three different types of meetings you could expect within the club. The most important being project meetings. So as I kind of hinted at earlier, all the projects sort of operate synchronously. So each one of your projects that you may join are going to schedule their meetings independently of every other project. And that's partly to help out with you guys with all the different schedules we have going on. We want to make sure that whatever project you're most interested in is best meeting your own schedule so you can attend as many meetings as possible. So that's what you're going to be doing a majority of each week is just attending those meetings and sort of working hands-on with whatever project you decide to pursue. And those will all be led by your individual project managers, some of which were introduced at the beginning. We also have leadership meetings, so these are completely optional, and these sort of happen on a weekly basis, usually around on Sundays. This gives anybody within the club an opportunity to learn more about how we manage all the 5 projects we have going on at once. So if you're interested in like pursuing leadership in the future or actually joining the team that helps manage all these projects and provides them the resources they need, then that might be something you want to attend. It could also just be interesting if you're wanting to hear more about how some of the other projects are doing or about some of the upcoming events we may have going on. But that's completely optional. Another optional thing is some of the social events we have going on throughout the year. So these typically happen on a monthly basis, and we just try to make sure we get together, and it's an opportunity for you to meet the entire team. Because once you get into your project groups, it may feel a little closed off, and you might want these opportunities to meet some of the other students within the club. But just to sum up, so like project meetings are probably going to be your biggest focus, and those are, I guess, more of what are the mandatory meetings, the ones you have to be concerned about attending. The other 2 are completely optional and just more for you to get involved if you want to do so. Talking about how things have been shifted a little bit with COVID, it really applies more to anyone who's like looking to go into a project management sort of role within the club. I'm going to close. Who's looking to go more into like a project management role, and really the like limitations there are that you're scheduling events like 2 weeks out. If you do have an idea for a social event or you want to like host something like that within the club, and you want to take that up, definitely reach out to me. But that would also be another constraint you have to be aware of. And then of course, like following all Purdue guidelines that they've set forth with COVID, like wearing your masks are going to be pretty important. And it's also important that we're tracking attendance just so they can sort of do some COVID tracking if positive cases do arise. All right, so now we're going to start talking about some of the active projects we have going on in the club. This is probably what you've come to hear about. So we have 5 projects we'll be going over, 2 of which started the previous semester and 3 of which started all the way last year. But they'll give you a sense of like what their histories are, what they're currently working on, and what their sort of goals for the future are. So I'll go ahead and pass it off to James to start talking about Rocket League.
Yeah, so if you've ever played the video game Rocket League, that gives you a pretty good idea of what we're trying to put together here, except in real life. So this is the 4th semester for the project. Some of our long-term goals are to basically build a hackathon where we have all these remote control cars and we're going to put them in a large arena, and people, competitors from other schools have to build algorithms to control these cars, and then we're going to have some sort of bracket, some sort of scoring system. That's sort of the long-term goal for the project. And then this is the 4th semester. As far as what we're looking to accomplish this year, we're going to be putting together a demonstration of what we have so far, where it's going to be something that we drop, let's say in the atrium of the mechanical engineering building, and we're going to give a controller to somebody, and they're going to control one car, and then the other car is going to be fully autonomous and compete against them. So not at the same scale of the hackathon, but still showing off a lot of really cool technology. As far as like basic outline of the system, we have those RC cars. You can see one of them there, and it's got this tag on the back of it. And then we've got 4 cameras. They're suspended on PVC in that picture, but we actually have a much nicer aluminum mounting system now, and that's tracking the location of all of the cars. And we're using a library called April Tags, which is used a heck of a lot in robotics for tracking really anything. And then we've got a machine learning system that analyzes the location of all these different objects in order to plan what route the car should take. And then we've got a closed loop controller, more like standard like controls tasks that MEs and ECEs would learn, controlling the car's velocity. And then we also have some electromechanical stuff going on in order to get those signals from the computer to the car. So this is, that's that portion right there that I talked about. On the right, you can see at the top, that's the stock car. It looks pretty simple. And then we souped it up like nuts, and they go crazy fast. And so that's the one you see on the bottom. And then we also have an interface to go from the computer to be controlling the cars. So that's one of the things that we still need to work on this semester, is upgrading that interface so that we can control a lot of cars at once, cleaning it up, making it more professional. And then same thing with the cars. Right now, everything's just kind of held in with electrical tape, and we really need a better system. So there's a lot of potential there for somebody interested in 3D printing, electronic soldering, programming Arduino, stuff like that. One of the other big pushes that we're making is in that machine learning system that's being used to control the car. So this is something that we had last year. We trained, using the same system that we're using now, we trained an agent to play the snake game where it's just trying to eat those apples. So this started out having absolutely no idea what the game was like. Basically, it was just taking random movements and running into walls. And I think this is just a couple of hours of training on a computer that we have access to, and it looks pretty good at the game. So we're trying to do the same thing now with this simulator that we have for the Rocket League project. And so you can see that on the left. And clearly we are still in that doing random things and not being very smart yet phase. So there's another really good opportunity for anyone interested in machine learning. Specifically, we're using PyTorch and Gym to do that. And so that's another really big push that we're going to be making this semester. And then sort of the very last sort of main opportunity is with the physical hardware itself. If we go back a couple of slides, you can see the field is all made of warped 2x4s, and we have that really crappy PVC. So we really just need someone who's willing to take the initiative and fabricate something much better for us as far as 3D printed camera mounts, manufacturing some of the aluminum we have. So those are the real opportunities right now on the project to help us meet that goal by the end of the semester. As far as meeting goes, we meet on Wednesday nights and on Sunday afternoons. And if you want the most out of the project, ideally you'd be able to make both of those. But if you can only make one, that's fine.
So for robot arm, we're essentially just trying to build a robot arm that we can play chess against. So for hardware, we're building an entirely new robot arm, and for software, we're trying to use computer vision to try and detect the chess pieces and actually move them. So that's the robot arm and chessboard in simulation. And then the video up top is the actual robot trying to pick up a chess piece. And that is our setup. All right, so I'm the project manager for Wizard Chess, where we're making Harry Potter Wizard Chess, but in real life, and it's like life size. So as you can see in the middle one, each of the squares are going to be like 2 feet by 2 feet, so you can kind of get a scale about like how big this is supposed to be. But last semester we were able to we were 3D printing motor mounts because obviously you need like 64 of those to build the robots, so we need a cost-effective solution. And no, how do I play that one? Anyways, that one shows, oh, yeah, so we have the robot moving. Some of the things that we need to work on are like making it actually wireless and mobile, and the electrical systems and CAD. And there's a lot of potential there, especially building the 64 robots and the field. In terms of software, we've been working on computer vision. So we're planning on having a camera at the top of the board using edge detection, color detection, or April tags. Still figuring that out. But we do have a little demo here of what we've been doing. You can see on the small screen, kind of like translating it onto the edge. And yeah, we're also using voice recognition to make sure that you can say where you want the piece to go. So like knight to e5 or something. And so if you're interested in any of that, or like path planning, which we'll need to make the robots actually autonomous, this is a great project to join.
Ray Vance, who couldn't make the day as well, he's the project manager for this club, so I'll sort of fill you on what's happening with this project. So Piano Hands is really trying to study human motion through animatronics. So their first goal is they're going to be looking at seeing if they can build a system that's able to play the piano similar to how a human might do it. So they're in the rough prototyping stage. So they began last semester. They're in the rough prototyping stage where they're still working out their models for how they want this first basic hand structure to look, and seeing if they can even just be able to command it the correct ways to get the right notes they're expecting, and to somewhat match some of the human gaits that a finger might have. And so you can see that prototype on the left. And then on the right, you can see like a basic example of like how the electronics are kind of being put together, and the basic software that's going into ensuring we can control those servers properly so they can, I guess, replicate some of those human gaits.
I'm Suraj, as I said, I'm the project manager for drone delivery. So the project is kind of self-explanatory. The idea is that you use drones to deliver lightweight packages across long distances. Um, Last semester, most of the work we did was on the computer vision side of things. So we experimented with vision by light detection, edge detection, and then using the light reflected. We realized both of them had pitfalls, so we kind of ended the semester with starting to look at LiDAR and stereo vision. So that's what the club will be picking up at the beginning of the semester. We also have a test drone that ARC had used previously in their competition. So at the end of last semester, I took the time to actually put it together. It's not flying yet, but that will be one of the other things I'll be working on. one of the things I want to start this semester for this project is to design an actual drone that can store the packages that need to be delivered, that is customized to our needs. So that's one of the places where a lot of attention will be spent this semester. So if you're in mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, computer science, computer engineering, or any other field of engineering, I think you have something to do here. So yeah, that's
Cool. Yeah, so those are all of our current active projects going on within the club. Usually in the fall semester is when we open up sort of applications for new projects to form within the club. Just where we're at right now, just because we took on 2 new projects in the fall, we're kind of at a standstill and we're trying to keep the number of projects we have constant. So maybe in the fall we'll look at adding new projects, but these are what we're rolling with at the moment. A lot of diversity in sort of what each of them are doing and the different technical requirements each might require. So whether you're more software focused, there's areas for you, and whether you're more hardware focused, there's areas for you. And if you want some further explanation or elaboration of which projects those might be, you can come talk to us at the end and we can help guide you into what project might best fit your interest and sort of skill set you already have. But we do kind of make the statement that whatever project you're going into doesn't have any sort of technical requirement up front. You know, any skill that you may need to develop or learn, we try to provide you along the way. And we have a Wikipedia page where we try to document some of those skills that we find are reoccurring across many of the projects. But that'll all be involved in the onboarding process for each of the projects. So if you're interested in any one of the projects, they're each going to have their own onboarding meetings where they're going to be focusing on newer members and getting them up to speed on how the project has progressed and where it's currently at. So if you're interested in one of these projects and you already know that up front, you're going to want to be watching out for some of these onboarding meetings. These will be scheduled and documented in the Discord, which I'll talk about in a second. And then you can also read more about them on the wiki. So each project has a wiki or like sort of slice of the wiki that they own, and they try to keep that updated with the most recent work they've been doing and how it sort of developed over the past few semesters. And then going forward from that, so like I mentioned earlier, the Discord is our primary form of communication. In fact, you could kind of say the club is just the Discord in some sense, because that's where like all the community is. But that's where you really how you'll get involved with the club. In the announcements channels, where we'll be posting the onboarding meetings that are coming up with all those projects. So in the next few days, I'll be sending out a message that basically has all the projects onboarding meetings and times, so that you're aware of where you need to be to get started with one of these projects. It'll also just have information about like upcoming social events and a variety of other things that you might find useful. The info channel also has some information just about like basic resources you might want to look at and anything of that nature. Additionally, you would want to join the Boiler Link just so that Purdue knows you're officially part of this club and we can sort of keep track of attendance there. But if there's nothing else, I believe we can open it up to any questions individuals might have. And if there are no questions, we'll make sure we stick around for a few minutes and try to, I guess, spread out the different projects. So if there's like a particular project you're already interested in or want to ask some questions with, you can come up to that project, ask them a few questions and get to know the project a little more or to see if it'd be a good fit. If you're also unsure about where to go, you can come up and talk to me and I can help try to provide some direction for which one of the club or project might best fit your interests. Make sure the chat doesn't have any questions. Okay, I'm assuming that's a no. Cool. Well, yeah, I'll leave these up so you can make sure you get access to Discord and also the Boiler link. It may ask you to verify your email, so make sure you go through that process. The bot's gonna like DM you, and then just make sure you follow that through. If you have any issues with that, just let me know, and we can get that fixed. But other than that, thank you guys for your time, and make sure you ask us any questions if